In the silence of the night, when the world sleeps and darkness blankets the earth, there's a peculiar hour that often finds us wide awake. It's 3 a.m., a time when sleep seems elusive and the mind is restless. But what if this hour held significance beyond the realm of mere sleep disturbances? What if, in those early morning moments, God is trying to speak to us, to awaken our spirits to His presence and purpose? In this exploration, we delve into the mystery of 3 a.m., uncovering its deeper meanings in Christian spirituality. 1. The symbolism of 3 a.m. The symbolism of 3 a.m. holds a deep resonance in the Christian tradition, resonating with the concept of the divine hour, a moment fraught with spiritual significance. At the heart of this symbolism lies the poignant parallel with the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, a pivotal event in Christian theology. According to the Gospels, as Jesus hung upon the cross, darkness descended upon the land from noon until 3 p.m., shrouding the world in an eerie cloak of obscurity. It was at this precise moment, at the stroke of 3 p.m., that Jesus uttered His final words and surrendered His spirit unto God, signifying the culmination of His earthly mission and the redemption of humanity. Inextricably linked to this profound moment in Christian history is the symbolism of 3 a.m. Just as 3 p.m. marked the climax of Christ's sacrifice, 3 a.m. is often interpreted as its nocturnal counterpart, representing a time of spiritual darkness and contemplation. In this interpretation, the bewitching hour of 3 a.m. stands as a potent symbol of the profound dichotomy between light and darkness, good and evil, hope and despair. Moreover, the symbolism of 3 a.m. extends beyond its association with the crucifixion, delving into the depths of spiritual consciousness and existential contemplation. In the silent hours of the night, when the world slumbers and the veil between the mundane and the divine grows thin, 3 a.m. emerges as a sacred threshold, inviting introspection and communion with the divine. It is a time when the soul, stripped bare of the distractions of the material world, is poised to confront its deepest fears and aspirations, to seek solace in the embrace of the transcendent. Yet alongside its profound spiritual connotations, the symbolism of 3 a.m. also harbors a darker, more ominous undertone. In folklore and popular culture, 3 a.m. has often been associated with supernatural phenomena, from ghostly apparitions to malevolent entities. The witching hour, as it is sometimes called, is believed to be a time when the boundary between the physical and spiritual realms grows porous, allowing for otherworldly forces to manifest and roam the earth. 2. The spiritual battle. The hour of 3 a.m. holds a particular significance in the spiritual lives of many Christians, often marked by a profound sense of spiritual warfare. It's during these silent, solitary moments in the dead of night that believers report feeling the palpable presence of unseen forces, engaged in a relentless battle for the soul. In this ethereal arena, the veil between the physical and spiritual realms grows thin, and the darkness of the night becomes a battleground where the forces of light and darkness clash with ferocity. For those who awaken at 3 a.m., the stillness of the night may be shattered by whispers of doubt, echoes of fear, and insidious temptations that assail the mind and spirit. It's a time when the enemy, ever vigilant and cunning, seeks to exploit vulnerabilities and undermine faith, weaving a web of deception to ensnare the unwary. Yet amidst the darkness and turmoil, there is a glimmer of hope, a divine call to arms beckoning believers to stand firm in their faith and resist the onslaught of evil. The Apostle Paul's words in Ephesians 6:12 resonate deeply with the spiritual battle that unfolds at 3 a.m., reminding believers that their struggle is not merely against the tangible realities of the world, but against the spiritual forces of darkness that lurk in the heavenly realms. In the face of such formidable adversaries, prayer emerges as a potent weapon, a means of communing with the divine and invoking God's protection and guidance in the midst of spiritual warfare. Waking up at 3 a.m., therefore, may be interpreted as a divine summons, a call to arms in the ongoing struggle against the forces of evil. It's a sacred moment of reckoning, an opportunity to reaffirm one's allegiance to the light and to seek refuge in the embrace of the Almighty. Yet amidst the darkness and turmoil, there is a glimmer of hope, a divine call to arms beckoning believers to stand firm in their faith and resist the onslaught of evil. The Apostle Paul's words in Ephesians 6:12 resonate deeply with the spiritual battle that unfolds at 3 a.m., reminding believers that their struggle is not merely against the tangible realities of the world, but against the spiritual forces of darkness that lurk in the heavenly realms. In the face of such formidable adversaries, prayer emerges as a potent weapon, a means of communing with the divine and invoking God's protection and guidance in the midst of spiritual warfare. Waking up at 3 a.m., therefore, may be interpreted as a divine summons, a call to arms in the ongoing struggle against the forces of evil. It's a sacred moment of reckoning, an opportunity to reaffirm one's allegiance to the light and to seek refuge in the embrace of the Almighty. Yet amidst the darkness and turmoil, there is a glimmer of hope, a divine call to arms beckoning believers to stand firm in their faith and resist the onslaught of evil. The Apostle Paul's words in Ephesians 6:12 resonate deeply with the spiritual battle that unfolds at 3 a.m., reminding believers that their struggle is not merely against the tangible realities of the world, but against the spiritual forces of darkness that lurk in the heavenly realms. In the face of such formidable adversaries, prayer emerges as a potent weapon, a means of communing with the divine and invoking God's protection and guidance in the midst of spiritual warfare. Waking up at 3 a.m., therefore, may be interpreted as a divine summons, a call to arms in the ongoing struggle against the forces of evil. It's a sacred moment of reckoning, an opportunity to reaffirm one's allegiance to the light and to seek refuge in the embrace of the Almighty. Through fervent prayer and unwavering faith, believers can fortify their defenses and stand resolute against the schemes of the enemy, trusting in the promise of divine victory. 3. The call to prayer. At the stroke of 3 a.m., a sacred hush descends upon the world, enveloping it in a cocoon of stillness and solitude. For many believers, this hour holds a special significance, a divine invitation to commune with the Creator in the sanctum of prayer. It is a time when the clamor of daily life recedes into the background, and the soul, unburdened by the distractions of the world, is free to soar in the presence of the divine. Drawing inspiration from the timeless example set by Jesus himself, who would often retreat to solitary places to pray in the early hours of the morning, as recounted in Mark 1:35, waking up at 3 a.m. can be viewed as a sacred rendezvous with the divine. Just as Jesus sought solace and communion with the Father in the pre-dawn hours, believers are beckoned to follow in his footsteps, carving out a sacred space in the stillness of the night to pour out their hearts before the Almighty. In these solitary moments of prayer, the soul finds refuge in the loving embrace of God, seeking his presence, guidance, and strength to navigate the challenges and uncertainties of life. It is a time for introspection, reflection, and surrender, a sacred dialogue between the finite and the infinite, as mortal beings commune with the source of all creation. At 3 a.m., the veil between the mundane and the divine grows thin, and the whispers of the Spirit resonate with clarity and resonance. In the silence of the night, believers are invited to lay bare their hopes, fears, and aspirations before the throne of grace, knowing that they are heard and cherished by the one who holds the universe in his hands. Through the timeless ritual of prayer, believers forge a profound connection with the divine, drawing strength from the wellspring of grace that flows unceasingly from the heart of God. It is a sacred pilgrimage of the soul, a journey of faith and surrender that transcends the boundaries of time and space and leads the seeker ever closer to the radiant presence of the divine. 4. Divine revelations and guidance. Throughout the annals of human history, a recurrent theme emerges: the mystical and profound encounters with the divine realm, often unfolding under the shroud of night's deepest hour, 3 a.m. Across cultures and epochs, narratives abound of individuals experiencing celestial visitations, prophetic visions, and whispered revelations during this ethereal time. It is as though the veils between the earthly and the celestial realms are momentarily lifted, allowing glimpses into the mysteries beyond. Within the sacred texts and scriptures of various religions, such occurrences find resonance. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, the Book of Job elucidates upon such nocturnal manifestations. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds, he may speak in their ears and terrify them with warnings. Job 33, 15, 16. Here the depths of slumber become the threshold for divine communication, where the Almighty imparts wisdom and guidance to receptive souls. To awaken at this precise juncture, then, assumes a significance beyond the mere stirring of the physical body. It becomes a beacon, a signal from the cosmos that something transcendent is afoot. It is a moment pregnant with the possibility of divine intervention, where God may unveil His will or illuminate the path forward in the labyrinth of human existence. In the tapestry of spiritual lore, myriad tales adorn the canvas of 3 a.m. awakenings. Some speak of angelic emissaries descending with messages of hope and redemption, while others recount visions of future events, laden with symbolism and portent. For the devout, such encounters serve as reaffirmations of faith, validating the belief in a benevolent deity who orchestrates the symphony of creation with unfathomable wisdom. Yet, alongside these celestial visitations, there exists a darker facet to the witching hour. It is a time when the shadows seem to lengthen and the whispers of malevolent forces grow perceptible. Just as light cannot exist without darkness, so too does the divine encounter contend with the lurking presence of spiritual adversaries, testing the resolve of the faithful and reaffirming the eternal struggle between good and evil. 5. The invitation to trust and surrender. In the hushed stillness of 3 a.m., where the world slumbers and the cosmos seems to hold its breath, there lies an invitation to trust and surrender. It is a beckoning from the divine, calling upon us to release our grip on the illusion of control and to yield to the greater wisdom and providence of the Creator. In the tapestry of human existence, woven with threads of joy and sorrow, triumph and tribulation, we often find ourselves grappling with the illusion of autonomy. We chart our courses, make our plans, and strive to carve out destinies amidst the ebb and flow of life's currents. Yet beneath the veneer of our perceived self-sufficiency, there exists a profound truth. We are but transient beings traversing a vast and mysterious landscape, subject to the whims of fate and the caprices of circumstance. It is amidst this realization of our fragility and finitude that the invitation to trust and surrender takes root. To awaken at 3 a.m. is to confront our vulnerability, acknowledge our limitations, and relinquish the burden of control that weighs heavy upon our souls. It is a humbling recognition that despite our best-laid plans and earnest endeavors, we are ultimately beholden to forces beyond our comprehension. Forces that shape the contours of our lives with a wisdom far surpassing our own. In the sacred scriptures, echoes of this invitation resound with timeless resonance. The psalmist, in moments of both exaltation and despair, utters the words, "My times are in your hands," Psalm 31:15, surrendering the unfolding chapters of life's narrative to the tender care of the divine. Here in the quiet surrender of trust lies a profound liberation, a release from the shackles of anxiety and the tyranny of self-reliance. To embrace the invitation of 3 a.m. is to embark upon a journey of profound intimacy with the divine. It is to enter into a sacred communion with the one who knows the depths of our hearts and the intricacies of our souls. In the stillness of the night, stripped of the distractions and pretensions of daylight hours, we find ourselves laid bare before the presence of God, vulnerable yet cherished, flawed yet beloved. Instead of bemoaning the sleepless nights that beckon us from our slumber, we can choose to embrace them as sacred interludes, moments of communion with our Heavenly Father, wherein the veil between the earthly and the divine grows thin. It is here in the quiet sanctuary of the soul that we discover the peace that surpasses understanding. A peace born of trust, nurtured by surrender, and sustained by the unfailing love of the one who whispers to us in the stillness of the night. In the stillness of 3 a.m., we are reminded of the timeless truth that God's love and grace transcend the darkness of the night. It is a time when heaven and earth intersect, and our souls are awakened to the reality of God's presence. So the next time you find yourself awake at 3 a.m., may you embrace it as a holy hour, a time to draw near to God and experience His transformative power in your life. In this article, we've explored the significance of 3 a.m. in Christian spirituality, uncovering its symbolic, spiritual, and practical implications for believers. Whether it's a call to prayer, a moment of spiritual warfare, or an opportunity for divine revelation, waking up at 3 a.m. invites us to deepen our relationship with God and trust in His perfect timing.